Welcome to Astros Baseball, a podcast by a fan for the fans of the Houston Astros.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Astros Baseball Podcast. I am one half of the best podcasting duo in baseball, Michelle. Rob is off fighting he's a vigilante now. He's fighting crime part-time, so that's why he's not here. Let's get into the Astros versus Rangers series recap. But first, before I do that, I want to thank our sponsor, Ram Shirts. Go to ramshirts.com for all of your custom embroidery and screen printing needs. Now, let's also talk about that giveaway. Our giveaway started on May 1st, so you need to send in an email to Astros Baseball Podcast with the words Dad somewhere in it. Just somewhere, you know. If you want to put it at the bottom, if you want to make it like a footnote, you live your dreams. Just make sure the word Dad is in it. Email it to astrosbaseballpodcast@gmail.com, and you could be entered to win a shirt for your father or custom father figure in your life. Anyways, let's get to what really matters, which is the Astros versus Rangers series that started on the 13th. So we're gonna go over that game. Javier is on the mound, Mr. Coffee Stain himself. Calhoun homers first pitch. It's 1-0. Middle of the ninth. Not middle of the ninth. After the end of the top of the first, we are 1-0. The Rangers have one run. Nothing really. There's nothing eventful really happened until Texas hit Javier. I think he was having trouble this series because he so Garcia singled off of him. Dahl walked. Kiner Falefa walked. Dow to second, Garcia to third, and Culberson struck out, but Trevino hit a sac fly, and that scored Garcia. So it's 2-0 after the bottom of the first. Now, Fultonowicz, you know what? I'm not going to even try to correct myself this time. But, so, top of the second, Tucker's up, he singles. Diaz singles to left, and so now there's runners on first and second. Straw hit a sacrifice to the pitcher, and that moved Diaz to second and Tucker to third. He walks Castro. Then Altuve doubles to shallow left. Castro scores. Tucker and Diaz also scores. So that gives Houston the lead at the bottom of the second. Now we head into the top of the third, and Javier's pitching for Houston. He's still on the mound. Solak reaches on an infield single to shortstop. Solak gets on to second on a wild pitch by Javier. Gallo grounded out to first, and Solak scores. So now it's 3-3. It's tied. This is exciting. Fulty Nezowicz. I think that's what I'm just going to settle for calling him. The score does not change until we get to. We just cruise along. We cruise along. And this game goes into extra innings, so there's no score. There's no change in the score until we get to the bottom of the 11th. And so this is exciting. So Martin is pitching for Texas, or Arlington, I should say. Arlington Rangers. So first up was Castro at the bottom of the 11th, and this game went into extra innings, and so we have the ghost runner. So Castro sacrificed to third, and that moves Straw over to third. Altuve intentionally walks. Brantley strikes out swinging. Bregman intentionally walks, then moves Altuve over to second. Straw scores on a Martin wild pitch. So Brett Martin threw the pitch. He was pitching to. I think it was Chas McCormick that was at the plate, and there was a wild pitch, and it kind of got away from him, and Miles Straw scored on the wild pitch. And I gotta say, maybe there should be less Miles Straw slander. That's none of my business, though. Just in my humble opinion, less slander, please. and thanks. Sorry, hiccup, guys. So let's move on to Friday night. We have Greinke on the mound, and then for the Astros, we have Benjamin on the mound. So, top of the first, he gets Calhoun to ground out, ground out, ground out. So that's what he does with the first three guys. Bottom of the first, strikeout, ground out, walk, and fly out. Garcia. So he gets a strikeout and a ground out to third. So I'm only going over the actual play-by-play in detail just to demonstrate kind of how Greinke has done, because I know that there was some concern in the last couple of starts for him. And so far he's cruising along top of the second. You know, he's had groundouts and he has had one strikeout. So we get to the bottom of the second. Gurriel walked. Correa walked. And so there's runners on first and second. Tucker singles and Yuli scores and Correa gets the third. Straw singles, Correa scores and Tucker gets the second. Maldonado singles to left. Straw gets the second. Tucker gets the third. Robel Garcia strikes out. It's okay. We can forgive that one. And Brantley hits a sac fly to center. Tucker scored and gets Straw to third. So at the bottom of the second, it is 3 in favor of the Astros. So it's Arlington Rangers 0, Houston Astros 3. So top of the third, Greinke strikes out, or Greinke does not strike out the first batter. Kiner Falefa doubles to left field. Ibanez, I am not sure. Ibanez, I think that's it. He grounds out to second, and that moves Kiner Falefa over to third, and Trevino singles, and that scores Kiner Falefa. Then the inning ends. De Goose. It's top of or bottom of the third. De Goose. It's literally spelled Degeus. He is up on the mound for Texas. Or I meant Arlington. Again, my bad, guys. Alvarez singles to center, and then Gurriel reaches on an infield single. And so now we have Gurriel on second. So we have Alvarez on second and Gurriel on first. Now Correa was walked, so that loads up the bases. Tucker singles, scores Alvarez and moves Correa over to second and gets Yuli over to third. Straw is walked, so Yuli scores. Tucker gets the second and Correa gets the third. So they bring in Yang to pitch for Arlington. So Maldonado is walked. Correa scores. Straw gets the second. Tucker gets the third. Robel Garcia grounded into a double play, shortstop to second to first. Tucker scores. Maldonado was out at second, and then Straw gets to third. The inning ends with Brantley flying out to center. So at the bottom of the third inning, it is already 7-1. So Houston 7, Arlington 1. Greinke's back on the mound, and Solak doubles. Lowe grounds out to second, but moves Solak into scoring position. Davis hits a sac fly to right, and that scores Zolak. So it's Solak. So now Arlington tacks another one on the board. It is Arlington 2, Houston 7. No score change until we get to the bottom of the fifth. So Yang is still pitching for Texas. First batter up is Correa. So Correa was first up. So he singles to right. Tucker flies out to left. Straw singles to deep right center, and Correa scores on a fielding error by Garcia, and Straw gets the second. Maldonado, a machete bomb! He homers, and that scores himself and Straw. So now the score is 10-2. And, you know, the Astros, so we're up by 8 runs, and the Astros do not score any more runs. But at the top of the seventh, Greinke's still on the mound. Trevino grounds out to third, and Kiner Falefa is scored because Kiner Falefa, I mean, that guy is doing decent. He is like one of the only redeeming parts about this Arlington lineup. I mean, Greinke's having trouble striking him out. So that scores. So when Trevino grounded out to third, it scored Kiner Falefa. Hearn is pitching for Arlington at the bottom of the seventh. No score change. But if we get to the top of the eighth, and McCormick is in left field, Emmanuel is pitching for. So Kent Emmanuel is pitching for Houston. he gets a fly out. So he gets Solak to fly out to right and Lau to ground out to or fly out to shortstop. So the next batter up, Garcia, he homers to left, and Davis grounds out to third, and so there's another run. It's six. It's a 6-run difference. There's no score, so that ends up being the final score. Smith comes in and he's doing better. I think he's doing a lot better. I am worried that Greinke is having a little bit of trouble, but I don't know if this is just him getting settled into the season or maybe there's something up. I know that there are about to be some changes. So let's get to Saturday's game. Luis Garcia is pitching for Houston, so um he gets so Solak triples to deep left, and then Lau hits a sac fly, which scores Solak. There's no change in the score, so it's Arlington is up 1, Houston 0. Dunning is on the mound for Arlington. Bottom of the first, he walks Altuve. Diaz singles. Then Diaz gets moved over to second on a wild pitch. And Altuve is moves over to third on that same wild pitch. So Bregman singles to center. Altuve scores. Diaz scores. So we have Bregman on second, and then Alvarez singles to center. So we have Bregman on first. I'm so sorry. Bregman is on first, and then is moved over to second when Alvarez singles to right center. Yuli grounds into a double play, um, which puts Alvarez out at second. But I think that was a pretty smart thing to do because it moves Bregman over to third. And then Correa. He hits a homer, so that scores himself and Bregman, and there is no score change. So at the bottom of the first, we are 4-1. Then everything at that point, it just really became a, I mean, nobody was getting on base that frequently in the first 3 innings. But and I mean for Houston, because the score doesn't change again until we get to the bottom of the 7th. So Wood is pitching for Arlington. So Correa doubles to deep left. Then Tucker homers. So that tacks on 2 more runs. And spoiler alert, they score no more runs for the rest of the game. Stanek comes in to pitch for Houston. Solak singles off of Stanek. Then Solak gets to second on a wild pitch by Stanek. Lau walks. And Gallo homers to right, so that scores 3 runs. Garcia lined out to right, and Dahl was walked. So then they bring in Bielak to finish off that inning. Kiner Falafel singles to right and moves Dahl over to third, and Ibanez grounds into a fielder's choice to third. That scores Dahl. Kiner Falefa is out at second, inning over. Not that was not Ryan Stanek's best outing. I think we can all agree. So we get to the bottom of the 8th. And there's no score change, there were some opportunities that the Astros missed with some guys on base, but that's really what has hurt the Rangers is their high strikeout rate and their ability to leave runners stranded. That is quite a gift they have because they do it frequently. So let's get to today's game. So far that's 3 out of the 4. 3 out of the 4. So on today's game, it was Princess Day at the stadium. If you guys haven't, you should go on Twitter and see all the pics from it because everything is super adorable. Anyways, so Lance McCullers Jr., Iceman himself, is on the mound, and he gets kind of fluff at a ground out. Solak lines out to center, and then Lau strikes out. Altuve singles on the first pitch from Gibson. Correa grounded into a double play. Brantley singles to right. Brantley gets to second on a wild pitch by Gibson. Bregman singles to center, and that scores Brantley. Gurriel grounds out to third. So bottom of the first, we are we're up. So it's Houston 1, Arlington 0. McCullers is back on the mound for the top of the second, and there's no run scored. Gibson pitches for is back on the mound for Arlington. There's no change in the score until we get to the bottom of the fifth. So Gibson is still out on the mound for Arlington. He walks McCormick, and Straw lines out. Maldonado singles to shallow left, and that moves McCormick over to second. He walks Altuve, gets Maldonado over to second, moves McCormick over to third. Then Correa grounds into a fielder's choice to third. McCormick scored. Altuve is out at second, but Maldonado gets to third, and Brantley lines out to the pitcher. So bottom of the fifth, we are up by 2 runs. So the score is 2-0. McCullers is back out for the sixth. There are no runs scored. Bottom of the sixth, no run scored for either side. Top of the seventh, Scrub comes in to pitch for us. Davis singles and Dow homers. So they both score, and those are the only 2 runs. But I think that Scrub has been doing well. I think that this outing really is not indicative of his ability or his control. I think that he had I mean, I don't know what to say. It sometimes happens like that for the relief guys. Because if you walk the first batter, the inning can soon spin out of control. But the good news is that nothing else scores for Arlington. So Arlington does not score again. Rodriguez gets out on the mound from Arlington for the top of the eighth. Altuve singles to shallow left, and Correa singles to center. So now we have Correa on first and Altuve on second. Brantley lines out. That was disappointing. Bregman reached on an infield single. So now we have Bregman on first, Correa on second, and Altuve on third. Gurriel hits a sac fly to right. That scores Altuve, and that scores Correa. So Tucker is walked. So now we have Tucker on first, Bregman on second, then McCormick singles to left. So that scores Bregman, that scores Correa, and that moves Tucker over to second. So now McCormick and Tucker are on base. We have McCormick on first, Tucker on second. Martin comes in to pitch for Texas, and Straw is the next batter up. So Straw singles to center. That scores Tucker, and that moves McCormick over to second. Maldonado strikes out swinging. And then Paredes comes in for the top of the ninth. He grounds out to Garcia. He gets Garcia to ground out to shortstop. He strikes out Davis. Dahl singles to right, and then he strikes out Culberson. So that is a very solid first outings since his return from the IL for Paredes. It was just such a delight to see them sweep. You know me, I'm not a fan of the Rangers at all. I don't know what to say. Arlington is a toilet. It's not a good city, and I can say that because I have had to go there multiple times. Under family obligations, I have an uncle that lives out there. No offense to my uncle, but Arlington is not it. Anyways, I don't have too much else for you guys, but let's talk about some updates, some injury returns. Let me just pull those up right quick. Okay, so right now, Odorizzi's on the 10-day IL, but he begins rehab in Sugarland on Monday. Urquidy was moved to the 10-day IL today. Alvarez is marked as day to day. I don't know what that's about. Something about his leg being tweaked. You would have to look that up further. I should know this. So Framber Valdez throws 3 innings in a rehab start for Sugarland. So Valdez, his return is imminent. I don't know when it will be, but it will be soon. Um, let's see. What is the all right. So, I have it here. McTaggart. According to McTaggart, Framber Valdez said Friday he was told shortly after March 2nd that there was a chance he could miss the entire season. Valdez threw 25 pitches in the bullpen prior to Friday's game. He begins a minor league rehab assignment in Sugarland against Round Rock. And I guess that's his first rehab assignment. He's expected to rejoin the rotation in June. I just, I mean, he chose to rehab the injury instead of having surgery, which I think is great on his part, because I don't know that he would have been, uh, I don't know if he would have been able to play at all this season. Um, he's recovered quicker than anybody could have imagined. So I think that Valdez, he knew nobody knows your own body like you do. So I think that he is being smart. He's listening to his body, which is great. Um, Yuli is on fire. I think we should really acknowledge that his offensive production, and he's just, I think he should have, I really think he should have gotten some more recognition in the past for his defensive abilities, but um, I think that he will get nominated for a Golden Glove. So far, he has 7 home runs, 31 RBIs, and don't know that I think he has 18 walks so far. Um, I mean, his chase rate is down from 34.4% to 28.2% this year. His strikeout rate is in the top 6% of the MLB, just period. And his walk rate is more than double it was last year. He has really excellent plate discipline right now. Um, and I think that's very important. Urquidy is supposed to throw next week after a clean MRI, but he has to be put on the 10-day IL. There was some inflammation, so there's no structural damage. He just has to rest that area, and that happens, especially when there is a repeated when it's like a repetitive motion and you're utilizing that area and those muscles. It's not, it just happens. The human body isn't invincible as much as I wish it would. Um, they have some flexibility in when who they're going to put on the mound because the next game up is in Oakland on Tuesday, so they have an off day tomorrow. And on Tuesday in Oakland, they are going to be starting Javier, which is great. That's the best thing about having really reliable depth. And that is something that the Astros have absolutely. Um, we did see also shout out Garcia. He got his first win, which is great. I think that we are seeing a trend towards the guys really honing in, really identifying where they have their deficiencies. And we have such a smart like staff. We have such like, Troy Snicker, we have Brent Strom, Joe Espada, Dusty Baker, Michael Collins, he's a bullpen catcher, Javier Bracamonte is another bullpen catcher. They're just, and then Bill Murphy. We have Bill Murphy. I actually had the privilege of meeting his parents or his family the um at the Yankees game. Delightful people. He's a delightful person. I just I don't I don't know what to say other than I think that there's nothing to worry about, and given the I mean, we still have to get all of our pieces back. So right now there's a lot of movement back and forth between the IL and the not IL. So I think that we're going to see some ridiculous amount of winning uh, here pretty soon. And at the beginning of June, that's not that far away. It's roughly 2 weeks away, or a little over 2 weeks. I think it's like 15 days because like May 31st. Uh, but I mean, so he misses this road trip and he misses the next homestand. Well, most of the next homestand. So hypothetically speaking, if he starts the first, or if he returns on the first, you know, he could be here for the back end of that homestand. Uh, Hopefully, by the time they go to Toronto, it will be a little bit easier uh, for them to manage their pitching workload because Framberg would be back hopefully by then. Who knows? We might get lucky and he might return right on June 1st. That means he would be there for on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of June to play Boston, and that's at Minute Maid Park. I say, I mean, maybe there are some concerns with the Astros. I think the pitching depth, I would love to see some insurance, and I would love to see some more consistency out of some of these guys. Tucker will get really hot and then it'll get really cold, and then I feel like if there's we have the offensively, they are great producers. So if there's just a little bit more, um, I think there's going to be some tweaks, some adjustments, because I think that the Astros are quite serious about winning it all this year. And gosh golly, I am too. See, I'm trying not to curse as much, at least on here on Twitter. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you guys. If you follow me, it's on you, and I'll try to rein it in, but no promises. Um, I'm just so excited about baseball. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. If you're listening to this in the morning, good morning. If you're listening to this evening, have a good night. Don't forget to brush your teeth. Uh, Also in the morning, you should brush your teeth pretty much after every meal, and you should floss. Other than that, we want to thank our sponsors again. Shout out Ram Shirts. They are at ramshirts.com. They are your custom apparel, screen printing, embroidery needs. They brought you Crush City tees. They brought you the shirts that say "Let's go." Um, Extremely great product. If you spend 50 for $20 off, or sorry, if you spend $50, you get 20% off. You get free shipping on orders over $25, and that's not a lot. Like, that's a pretty reasonable thing. So, because if you buy like what, a few shirts, you buy what, 2 shirts and you get free shipping. Buy 3 shirts, you could get 20% off. It's honestly, I mean, it's quality product and it's great material. It's just a great idea, a great deal. So, I mean, you have, Mike Fires is a rat and is scared to show his face in Houston. Excellent. They have the Crush City tee with the astronaut saying, I can't hear you. Some of my more favorite ones, I think the Kyle Tucker with the little crown on the top. That's I don't know. I like King Kyle Tucker. And they also have great choices, for women's apparel. They have like really cute tank tops. Oh, I like this shirt, Kiss My Asterisk. That's pretty great. And like shirts are not the only thing they do. They have different stuff. Anyways, visit them at ramshirts.com. And don't forget to send in that email. Thank you guys to astrosbaseballpodcast@gmail.com. Use the word dad. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up and let y'all go. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Astros Baseball. Be sure to subscribe to be alerted when there's a new episode.